Good morning, friends. Welcome to Dream Big Today. My name is Debbie, and this is Sunday. This is Super Sunday. This is November the 19th, 2023, and Thanksgiving is this week. If you haven't looked at your calendar, if you haven't had your TV on or seen your newspaper that's talking about the countdown to Black Friday, to getting your turkey, to getting your groceries, it's this week. It's this week. And it's not a surprise. We know that Thanksgiving is the end of every November. We know that Christmas is at the end of every December. So why do we act like, oh, it's arrived and I'm not ready? But anyway, I'm not ready. Um, so if you would put your prayer request in the chat box, put your praise reports in there too, so we can celebrate with you as you are walking through and completely through something that you have experienced. We like to get in there with you and just celebrate, but we really need to pray together in uh, in unity, and just know that God hears our prayers. We just keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. um, I had something else to say. And you see, Lori is gone. And so I get to fill in today for her. So this will be short today because I'm going to be on my way to church. Today, my son-in-law at their church is going to become a deacon. So they've got their uh, celebration for that. So we get to go to their church this morning and watch that. And so I'm so excited for him. But anyway, this will be a short Bible study this morning. So I'm going to focus on James. I thought how appropriate our Bible reading every year at this time, because we use the 1 year Bible. And uh, it turns out that what we really need is at this time when we're going to be entertaining company, family, friends, whoever you have coming to your Thanksgiving table, whoever you gather together with in this season. We do it for birthdays, we do it for anniversaries, we do it for whatever other time of the year you celebrate. But we tend to really focus on it during these holidays, the big holidays: Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. And so James, Jesus' brother, really tells us how we need to act. And I think, how perfect is this for us today? I love this. Uh, James 2:18. He says, now someone may argue, some people have faith and others have good deeds. Let me click on my computer here real quick to make sure that I see my friends that's on. Um, how can you show me your faith if you don't have good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds. So what does this tell you? What do you believe? James is saying what we do is what we believe. Real faith. Oh, hang on a second. I need to mute my computer. There we go. Real faith will be demonstrated by works. You can't see faith without works. Works doesn't save you, but it flows. Faith and works is on the same side of the coin. If Abraham didn't believe God, he could have never done the good work of obedience when asked to offer Isaac. So I'm going to stop for a minute and say hi real quick to all of my friends. Hi, Nancy, Donna, Mary, Keith, Cassie, Sherry, Eileen. Yes. And Cindy, Tara. Okay. I think I see everybody that's on this morning. You say you have faith and you believe there is one God. For you believe there is one God. Good for you. Good for you. You have people that say, yes, I believe in God, but what actions, what's the fruit that you see happening with them? Demons believe in God. They shiver, shake, and split. They're out of here as soon as we start praying. Even the demons believe. How foolish. Can't you see that faith without good deeds is useless? This is like you're the steward of of the earth. You're the steward of where you're at. If I want my home, my yard, and everything to look like I love it, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to plant my flowers, take care of my flowers. I'm going to take care of all my stuff because I want to. I'm a steward of that. I love my husband, but if I don't speak nice to him, if I don't treat him nice, that doesn't show any kind of love. How do you act? If somebody saw you today in whatever you were doing, whether you're going to the store to get your Thanksgiving groceries or you're at the car wash, will they say, oh, man, I wouldn't want to be her. I wouldn't want to be him. Boys, keep your kids away from them. I heard the words they were speaking. Sometimes I heard people talk about an angry Christian because they're a Christian, but they always seem to be mad. Always seem to be mad. Don't you remember that our ancestor Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions? Now I went through there and I circled by his actions because we get confused about, well, works doesn't save you, so why do works? You have to have faith. So which is it? But see, let's see, one, two, three, four, five different times in this little part. It's talking about some type of action. Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions. It says his actions made his faith complete. That's one you need to underline. Verse 24 says, so you see, we are shown to be right with God by what we do, not by faith alone. Then it goes on to talk about Rahab. He brings in like two different people. There's a big difference between Abraham and Rahab. Rahab the prostitute was shown to be right with God by her actions. So these two examples, Abraham and Rahab. Abraham, the father of the nation. Rahab, a Gentile. James perhaps is rebuking the partiality that might have been developed on the part of the Jewish Christians against the Gentile believers. James puts together two people so different in character, their condition, their nation, their class, their society, to show that no one has ever been counted righteous without good works. So, good works is an expression of stewardship. In verse 26, it says, excuse me just for a second, let me flip my computer again. Just as the body is dead without breath, so also is faith. Also, faith is dead without good works. And you know what that made me think of is Ezekiel. We just read in Ezekiel 37, 7 through 10 about the dry bones. So it was dead, completely dry. Lori talked about the dry bones in your life. And then when the bones started to rattle, the bones started to shake, the tissue, the muscle, the skin, everything came over the bones, but there was still no breath. So the body was there, but there was no breath there until the Spirit breathed into it. Then chapter 3. Dear brothers and sisters, not many of you should become teachers in the church, for we who teach will be judged more strictly. That's a big deal. I thought about that. So many times I can let myself get carried away speaking about something that really I just need to stay with the facts. Instead of some of the things I think, maybe it's just me. I like to say this is my thoughts rather than this is what this says, unless if I'm reading it word for word out of the Bible. We are reminded that being a teacher in God's church is more than a matter of having a natural or spiritual gifts. There's an additional dimension of appropriate character and right living. We all stumble, but James did not excuse his or our stumbling. If we could control our tongues. Now, isn't this a great one for us to be studying this week? If we could control our tongues, we would be perfect and could also control ourselves in every other way. Words and tone matter. You can say something sweet. You can say, well, I said nice things to them, but what tone was it? What was your body language? See, all of that wraps the whole package. I can tell, I can read somebody whenever they're saying something a little sarcastic or a little degrading. I can tell that. I know when I'm doing it. And then in verse 3 through 6, he goes on to give an example. We can make a large horse go wherever we want by means of a small bit in its mouth. It's a tongue. A small rudder makes a huge ship turn wherever the pilot chooses to go, even though the winds are strong. In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches. See, just because you put the horse in the barn doesn't mean he's going to act right. A tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. It doesn't even have to be a lot of conversation. It can be one thing that you know that's going to set somebody off, and you intentionally speak that. Bring something up from the past. Oh my goodness, Thanksgiving table. You get to that point that you remember when you did this and you got in trouble. Oh, let's talk about politics. Let's talk about those other people, those whatever lifestyle it is. Maybe we just sit around that table and just show each other love and attention and do it. Make eye contact. Let them know that you truly care about what they say, and put your cell phones down and quit scrolling while somebody is talking to you. The tongue can condemn, the tongue can control, the tongue can contaminate, and the tongue can contradict. And I hate that. There's many times that I'm in a conversation with some people, one in particular, and every single thing I say, they contradict it. And I'm thinking, there's got to be sometimes you're going to think the same thing I do. I don't understand. I don't know why it's always, well, but let's think about this. Think, well, I'm always wrong. But I can't lean on that. I've got to move past that and not hang on to what I feel like that they're meaning. And then in verse 7, no one can, it says no, 8, but no one can tame the tongue. It is restless and evil and full of deadly poison. Oh man, it can murder a man's reputation. It can just slander. It can say the worst things, but it can also sing and praise and give encouragement. Let's focus on what we say today. Let's practice on what we're going to be saying whenever everybody comes into our homes this week. Sometimes it praises our Lord and Father, and sometimes it curses those who have been made in the image of God. Oh no. What are you saying? Stop and think about what you're saying. What's your curse words? How many times do I hear people say, "Oh my," and then use his name, or "Oh," and then use his name? I heard one pastor talk about it and said, "Why instead of putting God's name in there, why don't we use another idol's name? Oh my Baal, oh my Buddha." It makes sense, right? Why use God's name in vain whenever you're actually cursing? Stop doing that. Our speech should be consistently glorifying God. What you're getting ready to say in your knee-jerk reaction to something, if you said that, would you say, "Oh, God," because you're calling out to him in prayer? That's different. You know what you're saying when you're saying it. 13. If you are wise and understand God's way, prove it by living an honorable life, doing good works. Oh, we go back to the works. What are you doing in the kingdom? This is why we do good works, because we are in the kingdom. True wisdom is evident by its meek manner. Doing good works for attention shows a lack of wisdom. Jump on down to 17. I told you this was going to be short today, so I'm going to just touch base with this one. Verse 17 says, "But the wisdom from above," that's what we focus on, the wisdom from above, is first of all pure. It's also peace-loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others. Have you already had an argument about whose house you're going to for Thanksgiving? Is it already contentious? Be willing to yield. Don't be stubborn or obstinate. Not being just don't be weak, but be willing to listen and reason. It's full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. Being full of mercy means you're not going to excuse me, you're not going to judge others strictly on the basis of law. This is the way it's supposed to be. You're sinning, and here it is. I've got the one verse in here that I picked out for you today. Well, don't cherry pick the Bible. Whenever somebody talks about a specific scripture, give them a Bible. Let them read the whole thing. Let them put everything together, because you don't get the concept of it if you just read one thing. Okay, so it is full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. It doesn't judge. It's not partial. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. And those who are peacemakers. Do you need to be a peacemaker? Will you plant seeds of peace today? Get started on that today. Somebody that you really don't care whether you see or not this week, why don't you plant seeds of peace and just see if that starts growing, and reap a harvest of righteousness. Stand on James 1:5. We've already read that. Ask for wisdom. He'll give that to you. Without hypocrisy is one of my things that I had read. Always acting in its own character, never working under a mask, seeking nothing but God's glory. I have so many things I wanted to say this morning, and I only wanted to do it in like 15 minutes. And so you see how that's not working well for me. But what I do want to say towards the end of this right now is true wisdom can be measured by the depth of a person's character. Just as you can identify a tree by the type of fruit it produces, you can evaluate your wisdom by the way you act. Foolishness leads to disorder, but wisdom leads to peace and goodness. you're going to have to take yourself out and take that crown off your head, because you're not the queen of the house. You're not the king of the house. Let somebody else wear that. Be the servant this week. Before you speak this week, ask, is this true? Is this necessary? Is it kind? Run it through Philippians 4:8 before you speak. Brothers, whatever is true, whatever is, I've got it behind on my computer, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent. Oh, let me back up. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things, because what you think about is what's going to roll out of your mouth. And then you can either have a great day or you can blow it with one statement out of your mouth when that person walks into your house. So I am going to church this morning, so I'm going to get off of here. You have a blessed day. I love you, and I will see you in the morning.